Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Rebooking to Mastery, a podcast where I go through and analyze books and break down important and interesting concepts that I have discovered through my reading. My name is Jagan, and I'm a 22-year-old master's student just trying to spread some knowledge that I've accumulated over these last few years. And books I talk about include spiritual, practical, and social based books. The current book I'm focusing on is Stillness is the Key, a book by Ryan Holiday that talks about cultivating this kind of sense of stillness and just being calm, cool, and in the moment, enjoying all of it. So, we're on part one of three for this overall book, and we're going through each point just step by step that he talks about. So, the point we want to talk about today is about journaling. So, journaling is something that we have a lot of positive benefits with. And a lot of people, a lot of spiritual teachers, a lot of people who promote this idea of self help, all advocate for this idea of journaling. So you may ask, what makes a journal so much better than just letting your thoughts circulate? And the second part of that statement kind of summarizes why it does. Because when your thoughts circulate, when you let your thoughts kind of flow around in your head over and over again, you create these kind of what ifs, you create a lot of possible scenarios, and you create a lot of negativity around your own head. Because the same ideas swirl around and around, and being the people we are, negativity is the primary result of such swirling. So, one of the primary benefits of journaling is kind of purging your mind. It's kind of putting down certain bullet points, certain things on paper, and making some assertions, or making things more true. Because your mind is a labyrinth of information, of data, and of different thoughts and different what do they think and what ifs. By writing things down, you not only straighten out a lot of the thoughts in your head, but you allow yourself to read back what you wrote and then reaffirm certain true things inside of you. It's also you could even say it's a weapon for combat, spiritually speaking. Because by writing down certain ideologies, certain things, you give them more meaning than if you just spoke them or thought them out to yourself. It kind of lets you practice the philosophy you have inside of yourself, the ideologies that you find yourself defined by, and the ways of life you conform to. It, in a sense, silences a lot of the yammering voices that you have in your own head that question every single decision you do, that second guess everything you hold yourself close to, whatever ideals you may hold to yourself, and just keeps creating a lot of noise in your own head. So to create this kind of stillness, if you put your thinking on a paper, you're allowed to see it from a third person perspective, kind of more objectively than you would have if you just thought it in your own head. Because journaling is a few minutes of reflection that both demands and creates stillness. And that leads to the second part, which is cultivating silence. So we as humans, we love to hear ourselves talk. We love to hear the sound of our own voice. But if we ever just stop to listen, may it be to someone or something or even to your own head, you make all the difference in the world. But rather, people would just close their mind, think their own thoughts, and engage their own mind instead of having to use it to listen or to cultivate silence. It's interesting to see that the people that we consider the greatest people that we know, they would always need days without a lot of voices in their head to recharge. So they could finally actually hear what was important. Because in our world, we have so many inputs, so many things that are coming at us, so many things that are assaulting our minds in a sense, with just barrages of information. So if we have this ability to cultivate this lack of information input, and allow ourselves to sit in what we have as opposed to bringing in more and more things to contest with, we have the ability and the happiness of just peace. So by journaling, you allow yourself to cultivate silence because you put out a lot of energy onto a paper for you to review objectively. It's kind of like telling yourself, I'm going to put this on this paper. And when I've put this information on this source or medium, I will step back. Your mind will automatically step back from considering it and just look at the result from a third person perspective. And that is one of the greatest benefits of journaling. Thank you so much for listening to this episode on journaling and cultivating silence. If you'd like to hear more content, feel free to follow me on whatever platform you're listening on, or on Instagram and TikTok at ReBooking to Mastery. Thank you all, and see you guys next time.